he goes broke, that's not a reason for you to leave. Do you know what I mean? In sickness, in health.
As long as he's not an idiot.
As long as he's not abusive, there are levels and reasons you can divorce. Most definitely.
Okay,
he's not cheating. He doesn't break his covenant. You can't leave a man because he was broke.
Say you got married very, very young, right? And you as a woman has matured, is establishing herself, finding herself, but yet the person that you got married to, because you were both very young and perhaps you're a bit naive, has not matured. They've stayed like 21. Are you supposed to stay with that person? Because you're talking about not breaking covenant. Are you going to save that person? Meanwhile, that person's not moving anywhere and you're trying to move and they're holding you back.
Was you doing everything you was meant to be doing in that relationship?
Maybe doing too much.
Too much?
Yes.
Which was?
Everything.
Was you providing?
Yes.
You shouldn't have been doing it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of The Thing Is. Today, before I just jump into it, I just want us to give a big shout out to Bureau, who has allowed us to use their co-working space. If you've never been here before, definitely come here, check it out for yourselves. It's a lovely place to come and work. If you need to be private or if you don't mind sitting around other people, this is a great place to come. But right now, let's talk about relationships. So first of all, guys, welcome. Why does everyone look so nervous? Like, wow.
We're shy.
Okay, let's just, let's put the pressure to the side. This is all good. This is a nice, general, calm chat we're going to have about relationships. And I've told none of you what today's topic is.
That's why everyone's nervous.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about respect. Now, I know respect is very, very huge when it comes to men and women, and men tend to think that women don't give enough respect. Now, I'm trying to get to the understanding of why that is. Why is there such focus on a man having so much respect for the woman? Should it not be something that goes both ways? Should the respect not be equal? What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I think 100%.
Yeah. I think we as women, we need just as much respect from the guys. Would you agree?
Yeah, for real.
I think like sometimes you see women and I feel like they don't respect themselves. So how can you expect respect from a man? And sometimes, you see crazy things happening, like people that are together, there's an argument.
Yeah.
And you're just shouting to your man in public. I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, leave that for like at home or later. For me, that's like a sign that as a woman, you don't have respect for your man. No matter what the issue is, you don't go like out in the public and just like, start discussing it for everyone to see.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally, it's like things like that, that goes both ways, but for women also.
Okay. So, Daniel, how important is respect to a man when it comes to relationships?
I think it's number one. I think for a woman, you need love. And for a man, he needs respect.
Yeah, for real.
So does a man not need love as well?
He definitely needs love, but I think number one is respect for a man because of his role.
I agree.
He needs, he needs respect in his household. He needs to be respected by his wife outside.
Okay.
Most definitely.
What does that mean, outside?
Well, in public, I mean, in a marriage anyway.
Yeah.
I feel if you have an issue with your wife or a wife has an issue with the husband, like there's only so much you should display outside.
Okay.
And there's a level of respect that you have for each other. Goes both ways, but I'm just saying the respect for a man is a must. Like love for a woman is a must. And it goes vice versa, but I just think for a man, it's more respect, and for a woman, it's more love.
Okay. So if, say, you've gone out in public and your wife is not happy about something and you're in a public event or something like that, how is she supposed to get over what she's feeling and still remain respectful to you? Because sometimes I feel like, when you're in your feelings, right? Like maybe I don't want to really conversate with you, but I feel like I'm still being respectful. I just don't want to talk to you, and it's better for me to just not talk to you right now because I'm upset.
Yeah. But that can be seen from the outside as disrespectful.
But
because
then, how can I pretend? I can't
with
smile,
self-control.
it's fake.
Self-control.
Self-control.
Yeah, self-control. Well, you don't have no self-control. Like self-control, innit? Like you control yourself.
But you don't think there's something fake in that? If I'm pretending that we're all good, but yet actually we've had...
No. You don't need to pretend that everything's all good. I'm just saying control your emotions. Like women are very emotional anyway. That's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, and men shouldn't be emotional. Well, they are. It's that's the order. It's natural. Like a woman is more emotional. She's the nurturer. No? Well,
Don't I agree?
I because
You said a lot of things.
Already. Hey.
I feel, no, because I feel like this is just another one of those narratives that they push a lot on us, that men want respect and women need love. And so that's why they end up disrespecting women, because a lot of men think, I don't need to give you respect, I need to give you love. But honestly, I think men and women need an equal amount of love and respect.
It's not equal.
But it's not.
It's not equal.
No. That's your opinion of
No,
what
most
you
definitely.
want. And
It's
I'm
most
saying
definitely.
my opinion of how I feel and what my friends feel, which is that we need respect. And it's not just love. And that's the thing that they push.
But you know I never said that,
that's-
right? You know I never said you just need love.
No, you say you put it on an unequal level that women need more love, men need more respect. But in actuality, that's not the case. And because people hear that over and over and over again, that women need love, men need respect, then you see a lot of the times, even in these public relationships, that the women behind closed doors aren't getting respect, but they pretend in the public eye because of this thought of we must respect our men. And then it's only when they break up, then you see and hear all the crazy things that have happened.
I can agree with that fully.
Yes.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
And then
It's true.
the other thing that you mentioned, I forget, what was it after the respect? Was about,
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I lost track.
But let me just address that. Because first of all, I'm not saying women don't need respect. You must respect women, most definitely. Like, they are the mother of our children, they birthed the nation. That goes without saying. So don't listen to what I'm not saying, listen to what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that I'm not saying you deserve less respect. You deserve respect, full stop. Done. You deserve respect. What I'm saying, what love is to a woman is what respect is to a man. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that, I mean, we could talk about this equal thing. We could argue on the equal
I
thing.
agree with you, to be honest.
Because,
Yeah, have to be
I mean,
honest. Yeah.
are we going to say that we're equal? Are we going to say that? Because biologically, we're not equal. Like, as a woman, you're not equal to me. We don't race in the same
Do you
Olympics.
think you're above? a
Definitely
woman?
not. But what I will say is there's an order.
Okay.
Most high, man, woman, child. And I think some women, feminists, they get caught up on this.
Yeah.
They get caught up on, oh, I'm lower than... No, my woman is higher than me spiritually. She's so connected.
Right.
When I'm out on the battlefield, and I say battlefield, working in the world.
Right.
Well, she's spiritually protecting me like my sniper behind me. We both play equal roles in this, but in different departments. It's like someone's a manager, someone's got to supervise, someone... I'm not saying my wife is lower than me. Definitely not. She'll kill me. Like,
I was gonna be like, how are you still married?
exactly. She's not lower than me, but
Yeah.
there is an order, and I think that's the problem with these relationships is that we don't follow the order. It's
Yeah.
like you should submit to your husband. Don't say that I mustn't submit to my wife. I have to submit to her in other areas, but she should also submit to me. Now, don't submit to a fool.
Yeah.
I'm not saying submit.
Oh, definitely don't.
Submit to a man, to
Yeah.
a king is what I'm saying.
Someone that can lead, yeah.
But I feel like women just want to be like, they want to play this equal role, but you're not equal. You want to be equal to a man and be in your masculine. And then you complain because it's stressful and rare, you got to do all this, because that's
Yeah.
not what you're meant to be doing. Like, you're naturally a nurturer.
Yeah.
That's what you naturally do. And I'm not saying a woman can't do this or she can't do that. I'm just saying, can we all
not
play our
natural.
position? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I feel like you keep saying that women want to do this and women want to do that, and you're not actually akin to like what reality is. Any woman, no matter what level and status and success level they are, if you ask them what they want someone who is their protector. They want a real man. But society
real one.
does not allow them to be around or have real men. There's
No.
only a
How we letting
few-
society
there's-
dictate our life?
Society dictates
No.
our lives.
You choose your man. You choose your man, not society.
And then that's why a lot of women have no man and they are single because
Madam,
they can't find
there is a
those
lot
men.
of outside
There
influence
are
to be
so
fair.
Most
There is a lot of
definitely. But
outside
are we saying
influence.
there's no good men? Is that what we're saying?
No.
I'm
That's what we're
saying
saying.
there are men based on what you were saying. There currently a lot of men aren't in that mentality of what you're saying, of being the leader. As how you are perceiving that the woman doesn't want just the leader, it's because they can't find it. Because currently, the average man, when you ask them, what they want is a submissive yet equal partner, which doesn't work. They want someone who does half the masculine things, so she's half in her masculine, but then also want her to be ultra feminine, which is impossible. So you can't have both ways. You have to have the either or. So they want modern plus traditional all at the same time.
Can I
That's
ask,
why
what do
women have
you want?
problems.
What do you want?
What do I want? Of course I want a man to lead me. I want a man that I don't have to think. I don't have to do anything. I feel safe. I feel protected. I don't even care if I am a housewife, even though I am very I'm a busybody, I'm an entrepreneur, and all of that. If I meet the right man, I will just be in the house, be kept as long as he is a man. But a lot of the times, a lot of the men I'm meeting, it's not the case.
No, the caliber is low. There isn't a lot of good men, and there's also not a lot of good women. Like that's the standard. But if we're just, I know reality is messed up. It is, and you know, but you are the dictator of your destiny, right?
Oh, yes.
So don't allow them men into your house. Don't allow them men to come around you. Do you know what I mean? Choose wisely.
That's why I'm single.
Oh, well.
I try and it fails.
But
I try and it fails.
As well, I think in defense of men, I think sometimes us women, we have such high expectations. Like there's this perfect man that's out there for us. And so sometimes we overlook what is actually good in front of us because we have this list and we want every single thing on the list to be checked out. And you know what? In my experience, there is nothing like that. It just doesn't exist. There's no perfect man. The best you're gonna get is someone that you can work with and that perhaps can work with you and you grow together. That's the only way it works. There is no perfect man. So some of those things that are on your list, you need to take them off, and that's just the reality.
My
of it.
wife, when she met me, I wasn't the perfect man. But what she saw was potential. What she saw was heart.
Right.
What she saw was something inside that she could work with. Like, and it's for you to work, like with this society, it's for you to work with something. You're not gonna get something to walk through the door and it's just perfect. And a lot of women, they miss their husband already. Their husband was Derek from 3 years ago, but Derek was broke. So you didn't want to help.
But she doesn't need to, women aren't, they're teachers and mothers. They don't need to build up man all the time. And a lot of people fall into the trap of potential. They see potential in people, and so they're with that person, and the person never builds themselves up.
Oh my gosh!
Anyway.
Yes, it's true.
Exactly.
And then
It's true.
and then you're stuck in this
What
view
could have
of the
been.
person because you're only viewing their potential and not who they are.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people get into abusive relationships
Most
as well.
definitely. But you
And
gotta
it's
have the
very
spiritual
bad.
discernment to decipher, like, you know what, this ain't working. Let me jump out.
It's hard.
But
It
I
is,
also-
especially if you've invested time. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Now I lost it. Yeah, I lost it basically.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard to do.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, I think that's like looking for potential. I think that's also very dangerous because I also think I'm also like an entrepreneur. I do things for myself. So while I'm busy building your life, being your ride and die.
No, I'm saying don't build no one's life.
Yeah, what
No,
am I
I'm
building
saying
for myself?
as a
You
woman,
understand? So that like potential looking, if I'm like, I'm not a ride or die, I'm gonna see you at the top. We're both racing
Hey.
here, and I'm gonna meet you there.
I hear you,
You
but
understand? So that's one thing that I stopped doing because
Let me
it's
throw
just
something,
doesn't
sister.
go, you know.
like help mate, whatever you want to call it. That's what a woman is to a man. And I'm not saying you must ride or die, or what I'm saying is uplift your man,
Oh, yeah,
encourage
definitely.
him,
Yeah,
put him in the role of leadership. He may fail. I'm not saying he's gonna, but put him in the role of leadership. Uplift him in the morning, baby. Send him out to the world with a prayer.
What every man needs in the beginning
Upliftment.
of his life. Because it's very
In the beginning
difficult.
of his life, from his mother.
not from his mother person.
No, it starts with his mother,
Starting
most
from
definitely.
The age of 24 is kind of like the age when a man kind of find himself and start building on his purpose, finding his purpose, finding himself. So that is when he actually needs someone that is going to motivate him. Now,
Oh, it's not going to be me.
Why not?
It's not going to be me. Like I said, while I'm busy motivating you, building your
And he's
life,
gonna be
your
there for
goals,
you too.
everything.
Hey, madam.
That's
Hey,
majority of the time,
hey.
it's not
What
the
am I doing
case.
for myself? And then
Majority
what?
of times
And
it's
then
not
by
the
the time you reach 30, 35, and you made it, and you're gonna just swap the goal for someone else, for another Barbie doll.
From that
Do you understand?
beginning,
That
you
happens
can
all
have
the time.
boundaries and some type of rules that could lead you through the time where you get to that point where he becomes that 30 where now he has to get married to you. So from that beginning, for me, I always say that stage is very difficult because a lot of men are lost within those
True.
times.
Really
They
true.
need companionship, they need support, they need motivation. A lot of them are ambitious, they get lost through the road. So having a woman helping you, we've seen a lot of successful men who had their high school girlfriends and they are married now. What was successful to them? You know, as a man, when you become successful, you look back at the time when you had nothing. Even when you cheat, you still remember those times. That's why when a man...
Even when you
God forbid.
cheat, you know.
wait. I'm not done. Let me
Okay,
finish.
Okay,
finish
That's
what
why
you're saying.
when a man is married and does anything behind his wife, he still goes back to his wife. Because
Are we supposed to be grateful for that?
What?
not per se, but I mean, you
I
know,
ain't grateful.
There was some.
you know, there are
so
men,
much.
that I don't actually understand why they cheat though. Because for me, when I love a woman, I love her for her.
Yeah.
And I don't see any other person. But from my perspective and things I've seen, you know, I've seen a lot of married men and ask them, why do you have a side chick and all? They're like, I just want to have fun. I never had that opportunity when I was younger. So now that I have the resources, the money to have that
Exactly.
life,
And
I wanna explore.
this is why Oriane is saying what she's saying though, because oftentimes, right, women mature faster than men. So we've like established ourselves. You're in your 20s. You're still like you don't know what we are doing. We already know what our focus is. Now you want us to uplift you, and then when you do get there in your 30s, you don't want us no more.
Yes.
why
can I
would
say
you
two
date your
things?
age mate anyway?
Because people do. Why not date
why
your
can't
age
people
mate?
date their age mates?
Yeah.
I mean,
She should date
Okay,
older.
so someone who's 25, a woman who's 25, who should they date?
Probably 30.
30. Why?
Yeah,
So you
because-
can't date a 25-year-old. 25 can't date 25 or shouldn't.
Can do, yes, but most of the time, that's why they don't get married.
So so are you saying that young men should just not be in relationships then? Because obviously it sounds to me like you're saying that younger guys don't know what they're doing. They're not mentally established to be in a relationship. They don't have the emotional intelligence.
You know, having a younger woman kind of gives you the sense for leadership. Do you understand me? Having a woman...
That sounds fake to me. Sorry.
Age
That
is
sounds
not
fake
what
because why does your
dictates that.
age have to be the thing that gives you leadership skills?
What
It
do you
can't be
think,
your
baby?
age.
Are you
Has
trying
to
to
be your
bring me
mature-
in? Stay in your hole. Stay in your hole, black.
You have experience on that, right? You have your own experience, right? I have mine. Just what do you think of what I'm saying?
I've never seen you
So I have a
quiet.
younger wife,
All right.
and I don't. First of all, I think age is just a number.
Yeah. They are
But
stupid old people. Yeah.
but I feel they're stupid, young and old.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that I understand what you're saying, because women mature faster than men. The majority of relationships are a younger woman and an older man.
Yeah.
When my wife met me, I was definitely the immature one. But becoming a man and her uplifting me, I look at her and now say, you know you're the immature one. And she'd be like, yeah, you're right. So the roles have reversed.
Right.
So, bro, I still don't want to get in your hole with you.
I thought we were in this together.
No.
Be careful what you're saying around free females.
Let me say two things. Let me say two things of what you said.
All right.
One thing that you said was about guys when they are young, they're now finding themselves and they need a woman to help uplift them and encourage them and help them develop themselves. That's all cool and fair. But majority of men, once they get to that level of success, they leave the person that they were with and go after someone else
Who they can afford.
who is now they consider attainable because of their success level. And that happens a lot of times. So a lot of women have experienced that of putting into a man, thinking because they've been told you can't be a gold digger, you're supposed to help your man. And so every woman has had that relationship where they have built, fed into the man, been their prayer warrior, done all those things, even financially assisted them, and been dropped once the man reached the success level. So then a lot of women switch up and are like, oh,
No, but you can't switch up because of his.
I did everything I was told, and the results were not ideal. So I will try a different approach and go after a person who is at that level already.
And besides that, you waste your good years building a man's
Yes.
dream.
Yeah.
Now you're 35 with 3 of his kids in the house, and he is playing I don't know where. He's back in the streets, and you're in the house with his kids. What did you do for yourself?
Yeah.
It's
What
true.
career did you build for you?
And then another thing that you kind of said, which is on those lines, was you were like, the right man was, well, I don't know, Michael 3 years ago, but Michael was broke. Michael was not the right man 3 years ago. He was broke. He should be working on himself to get to at least a mid-level. It's not about wealth. It's not
Wait,
about
so Michael
wealth.
wasn't the right man because he didn't have money?
You were saying,
For
why,
real.
if you are poor, you should not be focusing on a relationship. Why are people...
Someone's
I understand that. I understand that. But let's just take it back. Let's just go back. And because the solution to your problem is simple. First of all, I'm going to retract what I said about a woman should be uplifted. First of all, there's a job for the parents to be doing that they're not doing.
Thank you.
Normally a woman finishes the job that the mother didn't finish.
The mother and father.
And the father
Right.
didn't finish, yeah? So once that happens, you tend to finish that. A good woman will finish that job. What was
should
the
have been
last thing?
finished
No,
already.
it should have been. But that's society.
it's not.
That's society in its whole. But I think if we are getting into covenants, which is a marriage, it's a covenant.
Yeah.
It's you know, under the Most High, you have vowed till death do you part. And you may not agree with this one because I know you recently divorced, but I don't believe you should be getting divorced. So those men that you have built up, I pray you was married at the time because you shouldn't have been with that man for, you know what I mean, without that covenant and without that marriage, then you shouldn't be breaking that covenant anyway. It's his fault if he breaks it, but it shouldn't be broken. Like,
Yes,
don't
it
get me wrong.
should.
If there's abuse, I'm not saying you shouldn't be there and be taking abuse. There's all sorts of situations, but generally, because you've built him up, that's not a reason for him to leave. It's not. If he goes broke, that's not a reason for you to leave.
No, absolutely
Like,
not.
it's till death do you part. Do you know what I mean?
As long
In sickness,
as he's
in
not
health.
an idiot.
As long as he's not abusive and, you know, not doing those kind of things, like, there are levels and reasons you can divorce. Most definitely.
Okay, can
He's
I-
not cheating. He doesn't break his covenant. Do you know what I mean? But you can't leave a man because he was broke.
No, absolutely not. So, but can I give you a scenario? And let me tell you what we'll do here, right?
Yeah.
Say you got married very, very young, right? And you as an individual, a woman, has matured, is establishing herself, finding herself, but yet the person that you got married to, because you were both very young and perhaps you're a bit naive, has not matured. They've stayed like 21. Are you supposed to stay with that person? Because you're talking about not breaking covenant. Are you going to save that person? Meanwhile, that person's not moving anywhere and you're trying to move and they're holding you back. Are you saying you still stay in that?
What I would say is, was you doing everything you was meant to be doing in that relationship? I'm asking. Was you doing everything? Was the woman doing everything she was meant to be
Maybe
doing?
doing too much.
Too much?
Yes.
Which was?
Everything.
Was you providing?
Yes.
You shouldn't have been doing that.
That's exactly.
But a lot of relationships are that way. Even when you're here saying like, when a person is broke, that's not a reason
To
for you to
leave
break
them.
up.
So
If
what
the
should she
person
do?
is broke, who's going to provide? The woman is now doing the provisional role, and then that goes into your saying that no, but the man's supposed to provide. So where's the?
Okay, so when obviously we was on this episode before, so you know my story.
I know.
Yeah. So when I met my wife, it's not to say I was broke. That's not the case. Even though some of the comments like to think so. That was not the case. I was doing good. Do you know what I mean? Just came out of a record. I was doing good.
Right.
But she had more than me. Yeah. And what she did was say, you are the man, take this. Because spiritually, physically, like, she is giving me the leadership role. And it's not just about money, but there's other things, like take control of this money, pay the bills, take control of everything, take the leadership role. And that's what I did. So I'm not saying if the man is, you know, you're not bringing anything to the table. Because people will say, oh, you was broke, you didn't deserve that woman. Do you know what I brought to the table? A lot more than money could ever buy.
And
I
you know
agree
that
with
you are an exception because, you know, a lot of men are weak. So even the thought of me taking my wife's money to do the business, like they get like upset by that, like as using their wife's money. And some men. Yeah,
That's 'cause
especially
he's in
there's a
his
lot
ego,
of
'cause he's
men
weak.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
'cause
what
he's
I'm
weak.
saying. There's a lot of weak men here. Like the stories that I hear crazy. It's on all levels. Like some men they tell their wives to quit their job when they're making more than them, or they'll tell their wives to stay home when they're trying to pursue like a certain career that will benefit them, or they'll take all their wives' money. Like a lot of market women, they are making so much money. They're working 18 hours a day, like in the market and taking care of the kids, and then giving every penny to their husbands who are not working and not utilizing the finances in a way that helps the household. And then those relationships are very normal. They're told here that it's normal.
But
And
that's
it's
a bad
because you're supposed to
relationship.
respect your husband.
You don't agree. Your face looks very, very confused. What you don't agree with? Because she said that
I
men
said
are
a
weak.
lot of men are weak. I didn't say all. If you're not weak, that's fine.
Since it's not all, then it's fine.
Okay, but she said a lot though. She said a lot. So would you say over 50%?
Basically, I think
85.
from what she's saying,
85.
Women are strong, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
As much as men need women, women need men.
Right.
So it's kind of like we play a role in each other's life.
Right.
And that's why I mentioned about companionship. So to everything she said, I do agree, but the part I was just confused when she said men are weak.
But
Don't you
Daniel
agree?
just said
80,
85% of men are weak.
85%.
100%.
Probably in this modern world, yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself weak?
Never.
I do think that ego or
And-
weakness or however you want to call it is the reason why men like to date younger girls.
To have
Because
control.
If
Yeah.
you date someone that's your equal, if you're 35, you date a 35-year-old woman,
manipulate, yeah.
you can't manipulate her.
They'll
you can't
hold
tell
you
her
accountable
things.
Yeah.
and you
So
can't
you want
handle
a
it.
woman that is younger to be like, okay, oh, thank you, I'll do this. She doesn't
Men love
understand.
vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah, so if it's like your equal age,
That's so
it's gonna be
scary
hard.
though.
No, it is. It's not right, but it's scary. That's what society is, you know, like
So men look for vulnerable women.
weak men,
Of
yes.
course.
Weak
It
men
happens all
look
the
for
time.
vulnerability
And
in order to give them
And can
some
I say
status.
and can I say something? When there are the ones look for the vulnerable woman, and then other men actually look for the strong woman to purposely break them down.
Yes.
It's like
To
a
purposely
sport.
break them down.
Yes,
That's
I've been with
narcissist.
one of them.
That's narcissist.
And I've seen a lot. My friends have talked about it.
What's
We've
the
been-
benefits of that?
It's they
The
get
ego.
off of it. They
There's
get
the
a
ego.
high.
Hey, it's like
off
a
of-
fetish. Hey,
Yeah.
what kind of fetish is that
You
one?
don't know how many men I know that meet a woman that is like gorgeous, smart, nice body, everything. They're like, okay, I'm gonna get you pregnant as soon as possible, and it happens.
I've
heard
and
that.
then like
Wow.
2-3 kids, just for her to not be attractive anymore, for her to gain weight.
Oh, wow,
Even
that's-
in pregnancy, like feeding her, being a feeder, just to make sure that she loses all her beauty.
Even
no
if
one
they
looks at
don't
her.
get her pregnant, like
Yes.
they will slowly, systematically try and break
Break her
down,
down.
her
Yeah,
self-esteem,
so that she will be stuck with
so that
you
she'll
forever.
be
Crazy.
stuck. And then you see someone who like is the most desired woman, and then all of a sudden you're seeing her like a shell of herself, and she's not doing her hair anymore.
Yeah.
She's not dressing up. She's not doing anything, and you don't know why. But then she will always typically hide it, try and hide it from her friends in
See-
society, because she's supposed to one, be respectful of her man, and two, that's how relationships are, and you're supposed to just keep things
You see,
yourself.
this is why I believe that you should not get into a relationship until you're of a certain age or a certain maturity. Because, and I've said it so many times, and people always bash me for it. I always say, like, I got married 24, way too young. I was not mentally mature. I didn't know what I needed at the time. And I stand on that every single time, because I think when women are young and you're not mentally mature, it's so easy for a man to come in and take advantage of that. You have to really, really know yourself before you enter a relationship, because what are you actually bringing into that relationship?
But then there's a lot of relationships where they're teenagers, 18 years old. They come together and they are together till they're 100, and they've
worked
happy.
together. Yeah, they
work
work together.
They actually go in the same trajectory.
Yes.
So there's no like formula, and if you're lucky and you actually find someone who is able to go through all the changes with you and not like retract or not get angry or like jealous and get their ego in the way, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
So I feel like, we should, in the most sense, be mature to be in a relationship, but not everybody.
Yeah, we're all at
way.
different stages.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Some people's
I agree
work.
with that. I agree with that. But I want us to talk about something else, because recently I've been having a lot of conversations about this topic, and it gets me every time. I know this is a topic that everyone talks about. I want to talk about body count, right? Because yes, we're talking about body count. No, the reason that I want to talk about body count is because a lot of men that I've spoken to, they say their maximum body count for a woman should be like 6, 7. And I feel like that's really, really hard. But for us women, we have to accept the fact that men can have 50, 60, 70, and we should be okay with that. How is that fair, and how does that work? I don't get it.
One thing that's so funny to me about guys who think about women's body counts versus theirs is that they think that a key that's going into that a bunch of locks and can open a bunch of locks,
I like that quote,
has value over a hole, like a keyhole that can only be opened by a few keys.
Okay.
A lock that can only be opened by a few keys. Isn't that better than a key that enters into all kinds of locks? Like, or a toothbrush, or another example is a toothbrush. So if a woman uses 2 toothbrushes or 3 toothbrushes, is that better than a man who has 1 toothbrush and goes and puts it into 100 women's mouths?
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Oh.
I get it. I get your point.
It's kind of hard to digest what you're saying.
I'm not following.
Yeah, okay, I feel like just be direct.
I'm trying to say no, because they don't think of it. They don't see themselves as being used goods when they put their penis in a bunch of vaginas.
I guess because a man
They
is giving,
see-
he's not receiving. So I guess that's what you're trying to say.
But they feel like a woman who, despite even just having 2 or 3 or 4 penis littles inside of them, is used. But they who have gone into 100 is not used because they're putting it in.
I think the reasoning behind it is that for a man, he feels that the number of women that he's been with gives him experience. And so when he finds this one woman, she said it doesn't. When they find this one woman, they get the benefit of that guy's knowledge. Whereas for us women, we are receiving energy, and therefore we're taking on all these different energies, which is not good for us. The man is the giver and the woman is the receiver. And so
energy flows both ways. The men receive. When you connect, you both get energy. So I don't know why or when they decided that it's a one-sided thing.
It's not. It's both-sided.
It's both-sided.
No one should be talking about their body counts, as far as I'm concerned.
No, they shouldn't.
Like, everyone's body count should be low. Like, it should be.
Well,
you should meet somebody and save yourself until marriage. Like, and I'm not leading by example because I didn't do that. But I wish I did. And this is what I would teach my children, that don't have sex before marriage. Don't do that. Because then there's no talk of body count. Like, body count, sexual demons.
But do you not think that makes a man almost seem like he's so inexperienced to a woman?
No.
You get experience
I feel like
in the marriage.
you experience with your wife.
Okay, so what if your wife has had previous experience and you as a man haven't? Do you think the man will still be able to control that situation?
What situation?
So she's done it before. The man hasn't. He's coming in fresh. He has no idea what he's doing. Do you not feel that takes away from some of his masculinity?
No. I feel like, first of all, I mean, in an ideal world, we should be coming together as virgins. That's the ideal.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's
I
just
agree.
talk about outside of an ideal world.
Yeah.
That's my moral.
Yeah.
But let's talk outside of an ideal world. No. If she's had 3 partners and he's had none, or the opposite way, I don't think you should be rating that man on his sexual performance, or I should be rating her on her sexual performance. You come together, like, is that what we're basing this on, sex? Oh, the sex was whack, so I don't like you. Is that, because if we're basing it on just that, then you shouldn't be together anyway.
But should you be with somebody when the sex is whack?
Well, what else are they doing? Do they provide for you?
No, this is how women. The first reason why dildos were invented, they were medical.
Who?
The dildo was a medical device. It was created because yes, women were being diagnosed with hysteria and all type. They were being medically diagnosed because they were unknowingly sexually unsatisfied in their marriages, because a lot of men aren't taught, like, sexual satisfaction in relationships is not taught, and wasn't, especially in the past. It was all about the man releasing, and that's it.
Right.
So then a lot of and because a lot of women would also be virgins, they wouldn't even know why they're frustrated, what is going on. They have raging hormones. It's all just because they're just not orgasming. So when it was created at first, women would go to the doctor, and the doctors would use the device on them.
Huh?
No, they would use the device on them in the room.
No.
It was a medical thing. What? That was why it first was created. You guys don't know?
No.
And then it was a medical device, and women just getting that satisfaction completely changed their whole dynamics in, like, their relationships, because they didn't know what they were missing, and they didn't know why they were feeling like angry or agitated and this and that, and that's just it. And a lot of men aren't taught that women's satisfaction
How are they
also
meant
matters.
to be taught? How?
No, the conversations.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the thing. We'll have a conversation with your man and tell him, I want to be touched like this.
No,
I
but
need
at
this.
the time, because a lot of women are also virgins and the conversations are also taboo, it's only in
That's
some
true.
African cultures and communities, a lot of African cultures and communities actually, and Asian ones, that they do those kind of training. Before you get married, they'll speak to the woman and teach them about, like, sex and all that, how to please your man, how to please yourself. They do that just before marriage. And some Asian cultures that even, like, let you, like, hook up, and they'll train you.
Huh?
But
Really?
What
I didn't know
culture?
this.
What culture is your?
I'm from Angola.
Okay.
So it's basically like before you get married, you sit with like all the
elder
you sit
women.
with all the elder women, the aunties from the church. Basically, it happens like in the church, the community. You just have like, now we have like bachelorette night or whatever. But back in the days, it was like you sit with all the women, all the aunties, and they just give you tips and tricks.
I think that's a good thing.
Okay, yeah.
Which is
Oh,
why
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people are lacking, especially in the Western world and in the modern world. They're lacking all that, and because of that,
Do you think so? The modern world is lacking. You think so? I think there's too much out there in the modern world.
like
I
they.
think so too.
It's only if you, it's you're going on podcasts and you're hearing this and that, but you're not having like calm, candid conversation.
Right,
You're not
okay.
having someone like behind closed
Present
doors
the actual
letting
facts.
You know, a lot of women haven't seen their vaginas before. Like, they've never like looked at their bodies. They don't even know what is where and like what gives them pleasure.
But
So-
that's down to the parents. That's down to your mother or your aunties, the elders, to be
Exactly.
That's
taught.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, that
And same with
culture-
the men.
Yeah,
But-
men too. So men need
but
that as well.
like as Africans, do you think that conversation will ever happen though?
Very
Because
difficult.
I can't
That's
It's taboo, isn't it? But it
it
needs
used
to.
to
talk
be
about
a
that
norm.
deep. Go
I
that
feel like
deep.
when you're getting like, so when you're engaged, when you're getting married, like the night before you get married or the week, then it's okay to. But before that, of course not. There's no conversation about.
No, there
nothing.
needs to be. There needs to be education.
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
we
That I
rely on
agree.
the schools to give us sex education. I don't know what it's like in Africa culture or here in Ghana. If there is sex education in school.
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe you could tell us. Do you know?
About sex education.
Do they do that here in Ghana?
Yeah, not into details,
No.
but it's just in science, right?
just a scientific
Okay.
thing.
But it should be down to the parents. Like my children, from they were 4 up, maybe even younger. We sit down, we have conversations about your penis and your vagina and what sex
Really?
is. Yes.
Which is
like
the
I don't
right
hold
thing to
back.
do, but they don't do that here, and because it gets shrouded in mystery, that's how problems
Right.
occur. And then that's how like people will fetishize or get obsessed with the sex, or because it's a taboo. And then they're sneaking around and they're doing this and that, and it's just a whole
It's a
lot
lack of
mess.
knowledge. It's just a
Yeah.
lack of knowledge, and that's going to turn you to stop masturbating, which for me is a sin. You shouldn't be doing that. So
So, I mean, I just wanted to go back to what you said at the beginning. You were saying that, you know, if the man is not able to sexually satisfy you, then why should you be around? Do you not think it's something that should be worked on, something you talk through to say, look, I didn't like it like this, we should do it like this, rather than just throwing the man away? Because you could go get another man
I'm
and the
not
same
saying
thing.
throw the man away, but a lot of men have ego.
You hurt their ego.
Yeah. Let me, let me
just
say
be
something.
raw.
Yeah, just be, yeah.
I consider myself to be like a prude compared to my friends personally, which is funny. And even talking about sex, I am kind of like more shy about, which people won't believe because I talk about it a lot.
Right.
So I was kind of sheltered and I didn't really get much sexual experience. I have had sex and I had sexual partners, but I still like about pleasure and all those things. I didn't really know too much. But when I finally did find a partner and was like, okay, this is what I like. I know like, okay, I can have pleasure in sex, because for a long time, I just associated sex as a thing that you just have to do in your relationship, not something that
That's
I
real
am
talk.
getting pleasure from.
That's real talk.
So I would just do it. And then when I like got pleasure, I was like, whoa, this is what I was missing out on. and then when I had this very serious relationship with this person that I did all the stuff that I was supposed to and thought that, okay, I should not be my normal self and be with this dominant man and blah, 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 it was the worst sexual experience for me. And when I would try to like tell him things, because he was older than me, and he would tell me that he's older and he has had like 200 people he's slept with. Like I have slept with.
That's
how
why he's
many
worn
few
out. That's
people?
why he's no good to me.
And
'cause
I
he's
don't
worn out.
know. Like he was like, how can I be telling him how to please him? Like you get
Wow.
it? So a lot of guys
Yeah,
have
ego.
ego.
Yeah.
And when you just try to tell them, and I've spoken to a lot of married friends, and they're like, they have to, it's only when they finally got frustrated that they stopped and told their man, like, look, what you're doing is not working. And you do this, do that, or do that for me to be happy. And a lot of women don't get to that point, and they're just laying there for their man. And then the man's
Yeah.
frustrated. Oh, my wife just lays there, and they go get side chicks.
But I think
that do
when
things.
those relationships where it's like bad sex and you're just laying there and he just does his thing and I think the
not
issue
gonna be
is
a
not there.
relationship.
I think the issue is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I think you're probably not happy in other areas of your life. You're probably lacking in something you're doing in other areas, and he's probably lacking in areas. So when you come together for that moment, I'll tell you something. When I'm on 100 with my wife in other areas, and she's on 100 on my wife with other areas, then we get 1,000 when we come together. And when we're unhappy in other areas, well, then it's not that great.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I know someone that the man is just perfect in all things, but when it comes to it's so, and they're like, how am I gonna be in this relationship? Am I going
Wow.
to cheat? I can't.
What?
So I don't want to. So should I not be in this relationship?
That's communication then. That's a communication issue.
If they can't, if the person can't
Can't
doesn't
what?
want to,
Can't what? I don't
He
understand.
doesn't want to.
like
He doesn't want to have
Okay.
sex.
no, he can't.
Get an
He
erection.
can't please the person. If it's small, it's too small and doesn't want to add anything to it, or
Add. How do you add something to it?
Basically, I think she's saying
extender.
he's small. He don't want to give no oral sex. He don't
doesn't
want to do
wanna
other
anything
things.
else.
Like
Oh, he's
But then
unwilling.
he's everything else is great, but she will forever be sexually unsatisfied because he doesn't want to do anything.
I can't speak on that one. 'Cause I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't
Guys, I can't help you. I can't help
on that one.
I think that goes down to the ego again.
No, it does. It does. But also, the woman, I think she's probably putting a lot of emphasis on that area. Like, and I think, no, she's
Maybe it means a lot to her.
no, most
though.
definitely. But maybe he has some issue. Maybe, like, there's some medical issue. Maybe he's not eating right. Maybe, do you know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Maybe he's not
It's
eating right.
important for a
Maybe-
man to eat right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Maybe,
then you can't
definitely.
start drinking
Yeah.
Like,
eating right.
blend him some peanuts and some
Yeah, but
almond
that's
milk
not allowed.
and
That's like illegal.
what's illegal?
To be feeding your partner things to enhance
Who
their
said that's
sexual-
illegal?
without a person's consent?
No, not without. You say to him, husband, we had some issues in the bedroom. I've made you a drink, some peanuts, some sea moss, all the good stuff, some beetroot, some almond milk. Drink this and take your time. I tell you something. A man, if you perform bad, because all men have their off days. I can attest. We have our off
that's
days.
true.
So if a man performs bad, the way you react could determine the next time he
That's true.
Trust me, the way you could be like, baby, it's okay, don't worry. Like, you can turn your man on again, You
yeah,
are in
definitely.
control. So, but if you're just like, hey, I was no good, like, what am I going to find the next man? You're just going to
Some
reduce
things you
it.
can't change. Some things, if the person's size is very small, there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, as Africans, are we not all like, where you go?
You'll be surprised. Not all, even though, averagely speaking, we are larger than the others.
Are you just
Some-
ungrateful, madam? I don't know. Which one?
Sound grateful,
Some men have 3-inch penises.
I don't
And-
know. I don't know.
No,
Wow.
some men have even shorter, and
Really?
and yes, unfortunately.
But there's
some
other
do.
things.
And then there's other things, but that's why I say that you should know yourself and know what your shortcomings are and make up for your shortcomings in any aspect. Whether whatever, physical, emotional, or whatever, you should. But a lot of men don't.
Yeah. Do
And
you
a lot of
agree
women don't.
that you shouldn't have sex before marriage? Do you agree that?
I don't.
Does anyone
I
else? Do
used
you
to
agree
feel
or you don't
that
agree?
Ideal world, definitely 100% I agree. But we don't live in an ideal world.
I don't think it's like a black and white that
Yeah.
I should tell people they should or they shouldn't, because I see different
very
formulas work
hard.
for
No,
different
you.
people.
What do you believe? Not what you should tell people. What do you
No.
believe?
I believe that it doesn't really, like, either way.
Because if you
I
don't,
think
if
it's
you
a difficult one,
Yeah,
I really think
that's
it's
why
difficult
in an
because I
ideal
think,
world,
I think it's ideal to say, okay, we're not going to have sex before marriage. You're going to stay a virgin, which I think you should do. I really think you should do to preserve yourself. But then say you as you're getting older, you're now in your 40s and you haven't met anybody. There's going to be some sexual frustration. How do you deal with that then? What do you do?
And
Because
especially
that's
if you're
when it
somebody
gets
who doesn't
hard.
believe
I
in
mean-
Do you see what I'm
masturbation.
saying?
what the
It gets
sexual
hard.
frustration, you feeling that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I was feeling sexual frustration when my wife said we gon' stop. Before we said we're gonna
I
get
remember
married,
your
we had
point.
like
Yeah.
a year, and I was feeling sexual frustration.
Yeah.
You know what that made me do? Go out there and be a man. You know what that frustration? You got to redirect it into another area because, well, if you're not having sex before marriage, what are you gonna do? Just allow that frustration to
But
control you?
I think there's a difference between men and women, though. I think for women, we crave touch and all of that. That's
No,
something
touch
that
is
we
one
need.
thing. Penetration
Yeah.
is a whole nother thing, Dela.
So you're talking about stopping at a certain
Yeah,
part
like-
before you get.
physical.
Physical.
You're saying like
That's just temptation,
Intercourse.
though.
No, well, it is. So I mean,
makes
so
it worse.
Yeah, that's what I
wait.
think.
So
that
are
makes
you
it
saying
worse.
foreplay is
That's like,
allowed?
no, you sit there and
Then what?
I'm saying touch, hug, feel, snuggle, kiss, all of those things. Like, you can do these things. Like, me and my wife was doing it, we weren't having sex. Was it frustrating for me? Most definitely.
But you're talking about a year. You're talking about a year. Someone who's 40 and they're still a virgin and they crave touch. Because let's be real, your body's going to do things, whether you like it or not. You're going to want to. How do you deal with that?
Is she a virgin or she's not?
She's a virgin.
She's a virgin.
Yeah, but if
then
you're
she
a
don't
virgin,
know
you
what
still
she's missing. Like, why she crave?
But you're still going to have
No,
urges,
she's human.
right?
She has an urge, but that's where self-control comes into it. I'm sorry. You're going to have self-control. Pray about it. Father, bring me my husband, man. Can't you see I'm suffering here? Like, bring me my husband. Pray about it and he'll bring you someone. But otherwise, simmer, relax. Don't draw out the dildos. Like, have self-control.
I've never tried that before, by the way.
Think I don't think it's that hard to be celibate. I mean, I've gone long stretches without it, and then I'll get into some relationship and be irritated that I even like went on and did it, because I'm like, God damn it, this was a waste of my celibacy. But I think for me personally, before I marry whoever it is I'm marrying, I want us to get to the full intimacy.
You've never been married?
Nope.
I think that if you stop having having sex with men that you are not married to, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think if you take that step in making that covenant with somebody and getting married, and I'm not saying you don't respect yourself, but respecting yourself and saying that, you know what, I'm going to hold myself until I'm married. And I get it, you're worried about the sex after you get married, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, and I think you will get what you deserve in that marriage. I don't think it's going to be a case where you need to test the goods before you get married. I think you should just reserve yourself, find a man, use your spiritual discernment to choose, make sure he's doing the right things. When he proposes, say yes if you feel to, and then see what happens on your marriage night. I think because you were patient, because you prayed about it, because you sustained for all that time, that when you're married, that you'll get what you actually deserve, and you won't be disappointed.
Which men in today's society?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Even when with me, because I don't sleep well, or usually I don't sleep with them right away. Even for them to be waiting and just a few months or whatever, it is a whole headache.
If he can't wait for you, then he's not the one. Yeah. Like, if he can't wait for you, then...
But how many men realistically now will date a woman who says, I'm not going to have sex until I'm married?
Me.
I think there are a lot.
Yeah, and me.
There are a lot.
So,
No, so that's
two out of... Because he's a man.
Yeah.
So 2 out of...
But imagine that's 20%.
Sexually reserved. And when I say that, it's like...
I can't
sexually reserved.
Sexually reserved. Louder. So what I mean is, I don't engage in sex. And every relationship I've had, I usually dated virgins. So it kind of like kept me disciplined to not have sex. So I think this 1% of men are there.
So do you ask the woman first if she's a virgin before you date her?
No, but I don't know.
So how do you know that then?
Me, like any girl,
are you a virgin?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has been natural. Every girl that comes along. There was a time when I was mad. I was like, nah, I don't want a virgin anymore. Now I want a girl that is not a virgin, that I'm going to get to do so many things with and experience the sexual everything. And then I had one.
He's agreeing.
The experience was so bad because she was like everywhere. When I say everywhere, it was like she's had so many partners.
Right.
And I mean, I don't even know how to say this, but anyone who knew that I was dating that girl told me, this guy dated this girl and they had sex. And sometimes she could tell me about her sex experience. I wasn't very comfortable about that. So you had sex with this guy? Wait, that's supposed to be sacred.
How do you feel as a man being around other guys that perhaps have had sex and you haven't?
That's good for them. I feel more reserved and valuable. Like, I've always wanted to reserve that for my wife.
Yeah.
I have my own fantasies. And I feel there are things that I want to do the first time I get married to my wife.
But
me too. That's the same with me.
That's heavy.
That's a good
I have
look.
I have a whole list of things that I want to do, and it'll be for the first time with my husband, and not anybody else. And if anybody even I don't care if I'm dating you or I'm your fiance and you want to try the no. As a whole, I want to have first experiences with my husband, even if it's not his first time experiencing it. Between the two of us, it'll be our first. So I think it's good. I think it's good to like reserve those things, but you don't necessarily need to be a virgin to still do that.
I would really like to commend you for that, because that's really tough to come out and say and be strong. No, because for some people they think that it's weak for a man to say he's a virgin. I don't know how old you are. How old are you? Are you want to expose that?
I'm matured enough to get married and take care of a woman. And
that's like you can be 18 and be matured enough to.
Yeah, if you want to see me as 18, that's cool.
Oh, yes.
But I really want to commend you for that, because being able to stick to what you believe in a society that's telling you something completely different, that takes guts.
Yeah.
That strength. That's really, really strong. So
for me, society don't really dictate anything for me, because I grew up from a background where, we're very restricted from so many things, not because they didn't want us to explore, but it's more or less like they tell you what it can end up with. So I'll take for an example, my dad.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. I'm supposed to be out there going to play and stuff. I grew up in Gabon as a child, and I grew up in Ghana as well. My mom travels a lot, so I've experienced different cultures. And for my dad, he wanted to reserve us more, like we shouldn't go out and stuff like that. So that's really made us not to have too much experience with this kind of stuff, because it's children or people that influence people. So and the mind is a powerful place as well. So the more you hear about something is when you get to do it.
Right.
When you always hear about sex, I had sex with this person. I'm at my stage now, I hear about it a lot, but I'm not influenced, because I know my values, I know where I grew up from. My grandma would always say, if you get a woman pregnant, you are getting married automatically.
Would you? So you would do that if you got someone pregnant?
That has happened to so many in my family so many times. For me, I'll not date a woman I don't see myself in the future with. So immediately you come into my life, I already tell you everything, why I like you for the first time, for the first place, and then how I see our future. We should be able to already talk about the things that we want to achieve together, about how we are going to get married, if we are going to get married. My last relationship, for example, the reason why we didn't get that far was because we only religious differences. She was Christian, I'm Muslim.
Oh.
But you could marry a Christian woman.
But she was like, it might be something that will be a challenge for her in the future. And another thing was, she lives in Germany. I live in Ghana. She wants me to move to Germany. I don't want to. I wanted to come to Ghana. She doesn't want to. So it's always that thing.
So if you had married her, would you have taken other wives?
No.
Okay.
I really liked her. I don't see myself having another one. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I've heard that before. Until the second wife comes in play, until they meet somebody. I mean, everybody has a thought or ideal of what they want, and then as they progress in life, things start to change, and things that you never thought you would even
you're now
want
open
to do, you become more open to, and it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's good, but as long as you're okay with it and you have no reservations, then go for it. It's okay to change.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But anyway, guys, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you. You've been very honest and open, shared your opinions, and we've all been respectful of each other's opinions, which is wonderful. So thank you a lot. And guys, thank you for watching this episode of The Thing Is. If you have something that you'd like me to discuss on next show, please drop it into the comment section. I would love to hear that, and we'll talk about that. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, we are out. Nuti Papa.